Hello ladies and gentle pigs. You're joining me today at Davistow Airfield, which is a World War II airfield built in about 1942, and that was after France fell to Germany, so the war obviously was a lot closer to home. Previously there was no need for airfields in Cornwall, but a few were built, and this is I think they call it a Class A airfield, so it had a 2,000 yard runway which could land the four engine bombers, Lancasters and such. But the real reason we came was to have a look at this one, the Royal Enfield Classic 500, and I've gone for the chrome graphite, and there were lots of colours available. This is the one I decided on the end. Initially I was reluctant to pay the extra 200 for the chrome, but as soon as I saw it I knew I'd made the right choice. So I was just going to go through a few good and bad points really. Bad, I suppose we can start with vibrations, which is what a lot of people complain about with this bike. No, I don't actually see it as a bad point. It does vibrate a bit, but that just makes it feel alive to me. I guess if you're on a long journey, that might become a bit tiresome. And I've written some notes down, so I'll keep going back to those. So what don't I like about it then? Well, first of all, the exhaust. I just think it's too long, too heavy, and a bit too quiet. I want a bit of a pop, so that's one of the first things I'll be changing out. Then the mirrors, I'm probably going to swap them for some tasteful bar ends. These are a bit spindly and next to useless really, unless you want to study your elbows. And moving on from that, what we got? The plastic number plate hanger, the light housing. I don't really like that, to be honest. I guess you could say it's reminiscent of Bakelite, but is that plastic? Yeah, I don't like it anyway. I may look into doing something with that at some point. And foot pegs. Foot pegs are on a solid bar, so they're not going to spring up. If you actually lean far enough to catch the ground. Previous experience with solid bar foot pegs, all I've had is mini motos, and I know if you go too far over and catch the foot peg, it will lift your back wheel off the ground, bring the back end of the bike around, and when it comes back down, it high sides you and it will just throw you at the countryside. What else? Tube type wheels. Now they're tubeless tyres but tube type wheels, so no quick fix if you get a puncture at the roadside. Other than that, I can't really fault it. So let's move on to positives then. First off, really comfortable. It really is like sitting in an armchair. I do feel like I could go hundreds of miles on it. Handles unexpectedly really well. For some reason I thought it would be a bit spongy and wallowy, but no, it's actually really planted and stable, and confidence inspiring even. All round, in fact, it feels like a solid bike. Okay, power wise, no, I'm not really a geek for facts and figures, but 27 horsepower, so not much, but it's quite torquey, and it will pick up from real low down the rev range, so really no issues there. And let's talk about stopping. Single disc front and back, and when I first picked it up the brakes seemed terrible. and I thought I'm going to get into trouble with this, but over the first 100 miles they progressively improved, and they actually feel pretty good now. And let's face it, you're not really coming into any corners at 130 miles an hour on this thing. No, brakes are plenty good enough. And I don't know, let's round it off, I suppose. I smile every time I ride it. Absolutely love riding this thing. I don't know what it is about it, but it's really hard for me to put into words, but it's sort of rekindled a flame that I didn't even know was going out, to be honest. It's simple, basic, to the point you don't even get a rev counter. Let alone a outside temperature gauge, a gear indicator, traction control. You know, you soon realise you don't need all that. You can tell by the sound when you need to change gear. Your fingers will tell you when it's getting cold. It does have ABS, of course, and that's not a bad thing. And hey, this is perfect for a little bimble in the countryside. You know, take it all in, no rush to be anywhere. And kind of takes me back to, you know, what made me fall in love with bikes in the first place. So that's my sort of overview. Something I didn't mention just then was a kickstart, which does work. Let's have a go. Not that time. There we go. Right, let's dodge some potholes. So obviously I started off talking about the airfield here. Get the visor down. If you ever want to know a bit more about it, we've got the Cornwall at War Museum is over by the factory over ahead of us, and a really interesting place, all sorts in there, from old uniforms to vehicles. Anyway, I've clocked up about, what are we on, 282 miles now. So by the time I get home, it'll be time to book the service. First service is at 300. I've got an exhaust at home waiting to go on. So I'm looking forward to that. And perhaps I'll put a little video up of the new sound. Okay, that's me. Thank you for watching. Ciao for now. Take care. Bye bye.